I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. I'm joined today by Stephen MacKnight of Working NB, Julia Halbleib of the St. Andrews Chamber of Commerce, and Brian Ferris of Working NB, here to speak with me about the St. Andrews Job Fair on May 2nd from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the W.C. O'Neill Arena. Thank you all for being here today.
Oh,
Thanks
pleasure.
for having us.
Now, Stephen, you were here recently, about a month ago, to talk about the St. Stephen Job Fair. Can you tell me what inspired, though, the St. Andrews Job Fair, which is actually the first one we've ever had in this community?
A lot of the partners are the same, and the planners are the same. And I think the reason why this is happening now is because we had great momentum from the last job fair, the Job Connection at Garcelon Center in St. Stephen. And the town of St. Stephen had a table at that. There were many businesses from St. Andrews there. And they saw all these people coming prepared with resumes and interacting and having great conversations with the people that had joined us at the Job Connection there. And so the idea and the request just kind of grew naturally that let's have one here in St. Andrews.
And Julia, can you tell us a little bit about who we can expect to see? Now, I know that you can still register if you are a business looking to be a part of the job fair. I do want to stress that, and I'll hear more about you from that. But what are we looking at in terms of businesses? We think of St. Andrews, obviously, as tourism and hospitality first and foremost, but it's so much more than that, and obviously this job fair speaks to that.
Yes, exactly. So far we have 22 businesses that have registered, but like you said, registration is still open for those that want to secure a booth. And we were really quite overwhelmed as well with the diversity of businesses that did register. Of course, just as it is leading up to the summer season, there will be some players from the hospitality tourism sector, culinary of course, but we also have the RCMP for the first time ever. We have the Fundy North Fishermen Association, business from the nursing sector, RCMP. So really lots of opportunities to connect for seasonal, part-time, full-time positions for all ages, really.
And Brian, one of the great things about the job fair is that transportation and childcare, if those are obstacles, are covered. Can you speak to how you've addressed that with this job fair?
Sure. Well, we've been doing job fairs for long time in the Charlotte County area. St. Andrews is going to be one of the first ones here, which is kind of exciting. But we've been kind of trying to make different connections and get rid of barriers for people around here to be able to bring them. So one, obviously, transportation. It's always a barrier down in Charlotte County, whether it be someone living in Back Bay, he's got to make it to St. Andrews. And so we've always had that conversation. Trying to get them there, we're going to have Dial-A-Ride, which is down here. So you'll be able to call up Dial-A-Ride. I'm not exactly sure of the number, but we'll put it on in the end. So you can call the Dial-A-Ride to actually make a free drive to and from the job fair.
Okay, and that's 48 hours in advance? Is that a Dial-A-Ride standard?
Yep.
Yes.
And then childcare, for the first time, this is a bit of a funny story, but it's a good one. We were at the Garcelon Center, and Sherry DeVoe and her crew from Practical HR, we all decided, and as a committee, see if we can have an idea of having a little childcare area. One person used it.
Okay.
Success. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I do. If we ended up putting that on for free, it was no extra cost. We bought some crayons and some extra fruit drinks and things like that. And there was one child in there. She had a blast, apparently. So that's the way I looked at it. I thought that was great. So one person helped. That's a success to us.
Now, another obstacle can also just be that you're in class. But, Julia, can you speak to how you're making sure students from NBCC St. Andrews will be able to make it to the job fair, as I'm sure they might be some potential employees that many of the businesses in our community are hoping will make it there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's really a prime time for, NBCC students here at the St. Andrews campus, but also, of course, high school students as we're leading into the summer. Some students are graduating, but we also have an intake of 52 new students in the hospitality tourism program and culinary program, so that's huge, actually. and they'll all be coming down to looking for jobs. And we really wanted to make sure that the time frame we're offering the job fair suits that. So in St. Stephen, it was from 11 to 3, and as long as you had maybe online classes, you might not have made it. So this time we really pushed it a bit back, so 1 to 5, really making sure that the students can come down after classes to connect with the employers.
And I understand that the high school students from SJDA, Sir James Dunn Academy, will be making their way over too.
Yes, absolutely. So we've extended the invitation to the high schools in the region. So Sir James Dunn Academy is just down the street from the O'Neill Arena, so they'll be walking over, but we've stressed the opportunities. There are great opportunities here in St. Andrews for student type jobs. So there will be a bus from Funday High School in St. George that students can sign up and come, and a bus from St. Stephen High School. So if a student lives outside of St. Andrews but says, hey, what a great way to spend a summer working in St. Andrews, and at a job, there may be a job that has tips, summer hour jobs. And so if you have the wherewithal to work within St. Andrews as a student who lives slightly outside our area, then we've arranged transportation that way so students can come and experience the job fair.
And I know we will find this detail out closer to the job fair, but I know in St. Andrews, one of the most talked about items of the late winter was the hop-on, hop-off bus service that we are getting this summer, spearheaded by the Huntsman. It's a 7-stop free bus. I know that it will be probably in the summer geared towards tourism as well. One of the stops will be right here at the WC O'Neill Arena at the Welcome Center, but that comes in handy on the job fair day, and it might be actually unveiling its service at the job fair.
So the initial plan of the Huntsman hop-on, hop-off bus would have been around the end of May. But we reached out and they were, wow, this is a great idea. We can promote the hop-on, hop-off bus the day of the job fair. So it looks like all engines are a-go on this, just taking care of a few small details, making sure we have a driver and getting all set. But the 7 stops would include a way for people who live a little further around to get to the O'Neill Arena for the job fair. And hopefully the NBCC students would also be able to take advantage of that as well.
Now we've talked about high school students, NBCC students. One thing that the St. Andrews area in particular has a large population of are people maybe 60 plus still wanting to be part of the workforce, or maybe looking to go back into the workforce. I mentioned to all of you prior to this, both my parents are in the 70s. They thought they would be retiring a while ago, but it actually became that they missed working. And I think we're at a different phase, a different generation where going back to work is getting to be pretty normal, and especially as people are living longer and are healthier. Can you talk a little bit about Kaleidoscope? I know you know the full name of Kaleidoscope Group, and what their service is, and the booth that they will be having at the job fair, Julia.
Yeah, so Kaleidoscope Social Impact is the full name. They are government funded as well, and will have a booth at the job fair as mentioned. They've really worked on being more present in the Charlotte County area and have connected with all the chambers. And what they do, they pair employees over the age of 50, just you were just talking about, with employers. So in 2 phases, of course, educating the employees on how to maybe do a resume these days, what the online application process looks like as it is ever evolving, and also educating the employers on the benefits of having perhaps a mature employee. They're very reliable usually. They're usually come with a wealth of knowledge and expertise. And to your point, a lot of the residents in St. Andrews, it's such a vibrant community. They want to get involved. We've seen it at the Welcome Center last year, and it really makes for great exchange of perhaps people at a later stage in life, and maybe pairing that with students as well. And
like you said earlier, generational learning.
Exactly.
So interesting that way. When you have a senior that's seasoned and has experience working with a youth that possibly have never worked before, they see a different work ethic. They see a different, kind of everything. Just working with other people, it's beneficial for both.
sometimes the biggest obstacle we face is our own hesitancy and fear and just walking through that door to begin with. I'd love to hear a little bit about how Working NB prepares people, or even just your advice to people considering going to the job fair of all ages on how to feel confident and prepared when they come. What should they bring with them, and how should they get ready? And how could you help them?
Well, with Working NB, we have a slew of employment counselors who can help with resume writing. If you need a mock interview, I've seen a lot of the employment counselors do that with people. I did years ago, but these guys have been trained specifically in it. Resume writing, resumes change every single year, as Stephen knows. You've taken the training. There's different training that these employment counselors get that are specified to the resume writing. Like I said, it changes every year, and they're up to date every year, what the employees or employers want. So as people are coming in looking for someone to help them with a resume, that's exactly what Working NB can do, or the enterprise networks.
So
Working
the
NB.
workroom, we have 3 offices here in Charlotte County. Our adult office, as it's called, is in the Working NB office at the Ganong Place Chocolate Museum building in St. Stephen. And we have an office at St. Stephen High School and Fundy High School. I urge anybody that wants to polish their resume to drop in Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 at the Working NB workroom office. And it's free of charge. We will help you polish up your resume, help you prepare maybe for that interview by doing a mock interview, talk about pitch, the skills that you need when you walk up to a table and how nerve-wracking it can be for some people. They are nervous, coming up to a stranger, and that stranger is offering employment opportunities, and they would really like that opportunity, but are not quite sure how to approach and what to say. And so we will help you with that pitch aspect of it. You can call the office there and book an appointment, but if you feel like I live here in St. Andrews and that's a challenge for me to get to St. Stephen, please call the office anyway, and I have connections. I will find us a space here in St. Andrews, and we can work on your resume and talk about interview skills right here in St. Andrews.
Wonderful. And from an employer's point of view, can we talk a little bit about what the benefit is? Just aside from finding employees in the community, there are also other benefits that teaming up with Working NB offers when you're a part of a job fair like this.
Yes.
Can you talk about that, Brian?
Oh, for sure. My job is going out into the community, talking to employers, employees working at businesses, trying to increase the skill knowledge of the working class now. We're trying to increase their skills and abilities. So what we do a lot of the time is go in, talk to businesses. We initially do a human resource kind of assessment too. It's just a conversation, really. It's kind of like this. We're sitting down, as you can tell. I'm pretty normal here. So I just talk. But when you're in talking to a business, they want to tell you about their business. And most of the time when you actually go out face to face and talk to them, they'll give you different barriers that they have. And if it's an HR barrier, I can come in and assist with funding options to hire an HR consultant to come in and actually take care of that barrier, HR-wise, for the business. So that would be a partnering thing. There's also training that we provide. If any business in St. Andrews is doing some training outside the business, and it's needed for the individual's position, we'll give you 50% of the training cost, whether it be a $1,000 course, a $500 course, a $30,000 course, depending on the need.
Wow.
But we're definitely there. We go up to a max of $40,000 a year training for smaller or larger companies. Mainly the larger companies kind of focus on that. But the smaller companies definitely take full advantage of any opportunity, right down to a cooking course. If there was a chef at a certain thing and wanted to do a specific course, and if there's something that they wanted to learn Not here. It doesn't have to be here. It can all be online now. I've trained people from here to Scotland to Switzerland, just with specific courses, as long as it's relatable. But here in St. Andrews, we're going to be given presentations before the job fair begins. It'll be Sherry DeVoe from Practical Human Resources talking about immigration and the different services that they provide. Then I'll be talking about pretty well what I kind of just talked about, some of the labor market programs that we have that we assist businesses with.
Okay, wow. So that is bringing me to the next question I have, which is about networking, and that really kicks it off.
That's
it's a
the
great
whole thing with us.
Opportunity to network with Working and Be Alone.
Yep.
I didn't know about the services you offer in terms of training and support.
Well, that's just
which is incredible. I'll be following up.
The employment counselors do more than we do. Oh my gosh, yeah. They work with the individual. So there's different things that they can do. They can assist people by putting them through class as well. There's a training program that we've got. Best thing to do if you want to talk to Working MB, come talk to us. It's that easy.
And then from like a networking standpoint of just seeing what's in your community, do you find that job fairs are used in that way, whether you're a job seeker or just another employer? It really gives you a snapshot of the business community.
We've been doing this for several years now, and one of the things that we really notice is that it's a benefit for those on the other side of the table as well. It's not just a benefit for a job seeker coming and looking for that opportunity to, better their career or to, if you're a senior coming in to earn that extra dollars to help get by, but it's a networking opportunity for the people that have come to present. And it's a networking opportunity for all the local businesses, and you get to meet and talk about the challenges and say, hey, I'm going through the same things you're going through, right?
Yep.
And looking at solutions and shared solutions of how we can overcome things. And Charlotte County has grown so much in the past few years, and I feel that part of it is because we have allowed, through our planning, things to happen at these job fairs in terms of information sharing, sessions by experts brought in to talk. Sherry does a great job when she comes in to speak. And it allows the businesses to come up with solutions and see what options are out there. And I think that the value has shown itself to be for everyone that attends on both sides of the table.
Since we just had the St. Stephen Job Fair, what did you hear back from both people that were job seekers and employers who were partaking in the job fair in terms of the whatever would be a litmus for the success of the job fair?
There's always follow-up. So we send out surveys afterwards, and we want feedback from the employers. And really, the St. Andrews Job Fair wouldn't have happened if we didn't have such positive feedback from the previous job fair. It allows us to grow, and we can keep going because of that. And the feedback we got anecdotally from employers were there were instances of on-the-spot hiring. So we are, fingers crossed, feeling great about on-the-spot hiring happening this time.
Yes.
And we had a number of businesses say in that cushion of time right after the job fair, they saw a spike in applicants because there had been a growth in information sharing and on social media, and everyone started to say, hey, they were at the job fair, they're hiring, they're looking for people. And that exposure for businesses was valuable, and they reported back to us that they had had an increase in interest.
And we're looking at generations now. I even include myself in that, where you're not necessarily starting a job after high school or university and sticking with that job your whole life. So I noticed that some of the businesses that are taking part in this job fair, they might be looking for people of all different skill levels. You might be still in high school. You might require certain training or a degree for that. Do you find that when you look at the list of employers who are partaking, that the jobs that will be showcased at the job fair are all different kinds?
Exactly, and I think nowadays more than ever, employers recognize that they're hiring for the soft skills, and then they will train you on some of the practical skills, right?
That's right.
So even if maybe a job is not posted, I think to the point of networking, really connecting and presenting yourself in the best light, and just introducing yourself, and who knows what that might lead to in the end, right? Because as summer progresses, or as the year progresses, there might be more opportunities further down the road as well.
Are you anticipating something that I did notice at the St. Stephen Job Fair, is that a lot of people came just to see what's out there, and there is that, I guess it is more normal now to think, well, maybe I do want to pursue a different avenue or try it. There's often new businesses that emerge that didn't exist 5 years ago in this day and age. So do you find that with a job fair, it's not necessarily because you're necessarily seeking a summer job or employment altogether. It's just to get an idea of what's happening in my community and what's out there.
Absolutely. I think that really it's an old-fashioned idea to say, I'm going to work the same job for 35 years. That's not the reality of the world that we live in these days.
Today.
It really is.
Because I've been there for 27 years.
A lot of people move sideways. I can honestly say that working NB and the workroom specifically that I am involved with is my 8th different job as an adult.
That's your best one.
But my best one, absolutely. And it really, it's a norm nowadays for people to move sideways.
It is.
It's very much a norm for people to see challenges and say, I would like to learn how to do that. I would like to get into that industry. And people move for all sorts of reasons, and we've talked about kaleidoscope, and there are people who retire and then decide for a number of reasons. It could be, geez, I'm bored sitting at home.
I'm not done yet.
I'm not done yet. I'm going to get out and do that. Or it could be financial realities. It could be any number of reasons why people get out. But there is definitely that attitude these days of people can find value in simply going and seeing what's out there. So they come to the job fair and they say, this is the landscape of our area, this is what's happening right now, and these are the career opportunities that are available to me. It's a positive experience all the way around.
Wide open. Yeah. It's so wide open. Some people have had, like I know we were saying, it's not common now, and it's not. But the cohort before us, most of them ended up getting one job, and they stayed in their same job for 35, 40 years. Yeah. Nowadays, to be able to come to a job fair and just to be able to walk up to somebody, well, you've only had experience doing the one job, so you think. You don't realize the soft skills that you ended up really gaining from these jobs. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But by coming in talking to Stephen or talking to some of the employment counselors at our office, which is, I keep saying, just give us a call. You can learn so much from us or gain a little bit more knowledge as to, oh my God, I've got all these skills and I didn't have a clue. Right. And it's true. Yeah. It's very true. That happens all the time. Yeah.
It is an employee's market out there, so
is it ever?
that is one of the perks if you are going to the job fair, hoping to see what's out there and sell yourself. But what is your best advice for someone who is going as a potential job seeker? What would you say are for 3 things they should keep in mind when heading to a job fair?
Oh God.
Open mind.
Yeah, be yourself.
Be yourself.
That's number one.
And go prepared for, prepared to invest in it and say, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to give 100% of my energy. I'm going there to show my best face. Networking is essentially making an effort to go and connect with people. And you connect with someone, and it may not be this month that I work with this person. It may be down the road that there becomes an opportunity for you, right? So you are really investing in yourself by going to a job fair.
And what are some practical tips? Do you print a resume? Should you ask for, can I get a business card? What's the way to approach a booth and how to interact?
Can be both, really. personally, I always bring it because people do still love hard copies to look at. But, you mentioned digital copies, of course. You can connect via email, collect some business cards. Like you said, I think it's just important to connect and
Absolutely.
to be yourself, be natural. I know a lot of the business owners myself. Everyone here is very supportive and kind and approachable. So yes, be prepared, be professional in your attire and in
Exactly.
the way you
Look
give
the part.
yourself. Yes.
That's true. Look the part at the job fairs for sure.
Yeah. While being authentic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I look forward to seeing you all there and seeing the success of the first ever St. Andrews Job Fair. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Vicki. Look forward to it.
My guests today have been Stephen MacKnight of Working NB, Julia Halbleib of the St. Andrews Chamber of Commerce, and Brian Ferris of Working NB, all here speaking to me about the St. Andrews Job Fair on May 2nd from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the W.C. O'Neill Arena. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.